Looking for financial insights you can trust?
How do you protect yourself as an investor? What's the strategy?
I think it's really simple. I think you just want to be diversified in your portfolio.
The Payne family brings real-world experience to every conversation.
Well, I think that's the problem right now is, right, a lot of people that are close to retirement, they're taking so much risks. And if we do get a big sell-off, it could derail their retirement.
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
So let's bring in our VIP guest. And that, of course, is Brianna Lyman. She has been on the show before. You see her all over Fox News and CNN, one of those rare people that goes on both networks, raising her visibility and her brand, as they call it. Brianna, how are you?
Thanks for having me, Joe. And don't make us jealous with the Florida vacation.
It's the thing I do. I go away. I post 18 pictures onto every social media account that I have.
I'm going to block you for a few days.
I don't blame you. It's crazy. It could be worse, though. We could be in Minneapolis, of course. Let's go there first. Then I want to talk to you about the SAVE Act and obviously blowing up the filibuster. But as far as Trump dialing it down there a bit, right? So he's still going to have 75% of the ICE agents that were there before. I think it's a slight de-escalation in a way to cool things down. Maybe some of the right say, hey, you shouldn't acquiesce in any way, shape, or form. But as long as the job is getting done, I think that's the important thing here. Or where do you come down on this?
Yeah, and I think Operation Metro Surge had the stated goal of going in there with, more agents than maybe other operations, precisely because the counties were not complying with the detainers. But Tom Homan seemed to allude to the fact that more counties are complying. So I think that could partially explain the reduction in forces. That said, I think that the Trump administration needs to do a little bit of a better job on messaging, because there are a lot of, MAGA and conservatives who said, look, you promised us mass deportations with no caveats. It wasn't mass deportations just for murderers and rapists. It was mass deportations for anyone who violated our sovereignty. And it does seem like some of the messaging we're receiving indicates that maybe there's going to be a change in deportation policy. So I'd like to see some clarification, I think, from President Trump himself, not just from J.D. Vance, and a reminder to Republicans that you elected Donald Trump. He's going to get the job done. And this is why you should also go out and vote for Republicans in the midterm to continue the work.
And we're talking to Brianna Lyman. That's the thing, right? When you look at the polls that are out now, New York Times, 55% of voters, we're talking Democrats, Republicans, Independents, believe that all immigrants who are here illegally should be deported. Marquette, that's 64%, CBS News, 57%, ABC News, 56%. So the numbers are still there. I think there was this misconception that what was going on in Minneapolis was indicative of how people were feeling about deportation efforts across the country. No, I think Minneapolis lives in a bubble created by Tim Walz and Jacob Frey, as far as the rhetoric against ICE, and then all the wine moms and all the paid agitators shipped in from out of town, making it seem like this is the sort of chaos that we're going to see across the country. And we simply are not seeing it in other cities and other states to this point. So, yeah, you could say that Trump is winning, and on polling, he's winning. So maybe that's why he's been on the offensive so much, doing a full, long interview with NBC News. Also, J.D. Vance going on Megyn Kelly's podcast. So, yeah, it's an election year. And I say if you're the Trump administration, it's very simple. Push all the things that are infinitely better now than they were under the auto pen, which was obviously we have higher wages. We have inflation core around 2.5%. It was above 9 under Biden. We have a closed border. Obviously, no one even talks about it anymore. They solved the problem so fast. Obviously, the deportation's going on as well. Iran doesn't have any nuclear capabilities at this point. We have relative peace in Gaza. I could go down the list in terms of all the things that are going well in this country from an economic perspective, from a foreign policy perspective. And if the Trump administration, the minute you play defense is the minute you lose. So Democrats have to say more than just, hey, we're here to save democracy and Donald Trump is Hitler. Like, that is so old. It's not resonating with the American people anymore, Brianna, certainly. And I want to move here to as far as Scott Bessent, who I think is the MVP of this administration. I have big kudos for Marco Rubio, of course, and J.D. Vance, Pete Hegseth, a lot of different people within this administration, RFK Jr. But yeah, Bessent at least in media appearances and when he appears on Capitol Hill, is just the funniest stuff ever. So let me play this for you, and I'll get your reaction. I want to hear who your MVP is of the Trump administration. This is cut number 2. Go.
I have people in my district that are in rental houses that I wouldn't rent to anybody. They're not expensive. They're probably $500 or $600 a month. You think people that can barely afford housing like that's the housing that we're talking about when we talk about the housing crisis?
D properties push up the price of C properties. Inflation in C properties pushes up the price of A properties. Inflation in the price of A property. B properties pushes up A properties. So it moves up the stack. And if you think that somehow the laws of supply and demand do not apply to housing, I would say you're incorrect. We're incorrect.
I mean, that's just perfect, right? Just lays it out almost like a computer. Is Bessent your MVP at this point, Brianna, or are you more in the Marco camp, or am I not naming somebody that I'm missing?
I think Bessent's definitely my top 3, although I definitely put Stephen Miller, I think, in the number 1 spot, because not only is his policy, I think, aligned with conservatives, but also he does a great job. With Jake Tapper on CNN, you've seen plenty of instances where he has to walk them through step by step something really basic. To Scott Bessent's point, I think it's really funny that you're seeing all of these people who are pretending on the left to know what they're talking about and then talk at like a different cross point. And that's why there's no real progress being made at all, because they just don't know what they're talking about. And they keep relying on this Cato study that came out this week saying apparently, illegal and legal immigrants actually are amazing for the economy, and they do better than native-born Americans. And they don't drive housing costs up, not at all, of course. And it all ignores the fact that we have 20 million new people here in 4 years. They have to live somewhere. You don't see 20 million people on the street, thank God, of course. So where are they? They're in housing. And if they're in that housing, then you know who's not in that housing? Americans. So it's like a basic economic model that they just can't seem to fathom, because they don't want to acknowledge that, their open border policies does have really bad impacts on native-born Americans.
Every week, the Payne family cuts straight to the real financial story.
The one question, Bob, everyone's asking is, are we in an artificial intelligence bubble? You've been through boom and bust. What do you think?
No hype, no myths. Just what actually matters to your money.
Does feel very similar to what we experienced in the 90s. Where are we, though? Are we in 1995, 1997, 1999?
Listen to the Pain Points of Wealth on the Red Apple Podcast Network.